Hi, blessed ones. Here we go again at Shelter in the Storm with A Course in Miracles lesson 95. Okay, in the text we are still in chapter 6 and we just started on part 4 last night, the only answer. So we'll just continue on from where we left off yesterday. The ego uses the body to conspire against your mind. And because the ego realizes that its enemy can end them both merely by recognizing they are not part of you, they join in the attack together. This is because the strangest perception of all, if you consider what it really involves, this is perhaps the strangest perception of all, if you consider what it really involves. The ego, which is not real, attempts to persuade the mind, which is real, that the mind is the ego's learning device, and further, that the body is more real than the mind is. No one in his right mind could possibly believe this, and no one in his right mind does believe it. Hear, then, the one answer of the Holy Spirit to all the questions the ego raises. You are a child of God, a priceless part of His kingdom, which He created as part of Him. Nothing else exists, and only this is real. You have chosen a sleep in which you have had bad dreams, but the sleep is not real, and God calls to you to awake. There will be nothing left of your dream when you hear Him, because you will awaken. Your dreams may contain many of the ego's symbols, and they have confused you. Yet that was only because you were asleep and did not know. When you wake, you will see the truth around you and in you, and you will no longer believe in dreams, because they will have no reality for you. Yet the kingdom and all that you have created there will have great reality for you, because they are beautiful and true. In the kingdom where you are and what you are is perfectly certain. There is no doubt, because the first question was never asked. Having finally been wholly answered, it has never been. Being alone lives in the kingdom, where everything lives in God without question. The time spent on questioning in the dream has given way to creation and to its eternity. You are as certain as God, because you are as true as He is. But what was once certain in your mind has become only the ability for certainty. The introduction of abilities into being was the beginning of uncertainty, because abilities are potentials, not accomplishments. Your abilities are useless in the presence of God's accomplishments and also of yours. Accomplishments are results that have been achieved. When they are perfect, abilities are meaningless. It is curious that the perfect must now be perfected. In fact, it is impossible. Remember, however, that when you put yourself in an impossible situation, you believe that the impossible is possible. We'll leave our text there for today. We just have another page to finish off tomorrow. Okay, it's quite a long lesson. It's 3 pages, lesson 95. Here we go. I am one self, united with my Creator. Today's idea accurately describes you as God created you. You are one within yourself and one with Him. Yours is the unity of all creation. Your perfect unity makes change in you impossible. You do not accept this, and you fail to realize it must be so, only because you believe that you have changed yourself already. You see yourself as a ridiculous parody of God's creation. Weak, vicious, ugly and sinful, miserable and beset with pain. Such is your version of yourself, a self divided into many warring parts, separate from God, and tenuously held together by its erratic and capricious maker, to which you pray. It does not hear your prayers, for it is deaf. It does not see the oneness in you, for it is blind. It does not understand you are the Son of God, for it is senseless and understands nothing. We will attempt today to be aware only of what can hear and see, and what makes perfect sense. We will again direct our exercises towards reaching your one self, which is united with its Creator. In patience and in hope, we try again today. The use of the first 5 minutes of every waking hour for practicing the idea for the day has special advantages at the stage of learning in which you are at present. Excuse me, my nose is itching. It is difficult at this point not to allow your mind to wander if it undertakes extended practice. You have surely realized this by now. You have seen the extent of your lack of mental discipline and of your need for mind training. It is necessary that you be aware of this, for it is indeed a hindrance to your advance. Frequent but shorter practice periods have other advantages for you at this time. In addition to recognizing your difficulties with sustained attention, you must also have noticed that, unless you are reminded of your purpose frequently, you tend to forget about it for long periods of time. You often fail to remember the short applications of the idea for the day, and you have not yet formed the habit of using the idea as an automatic response to temptation. Structure, then, is necessary for you at this time, planned to include frequent reminders of your goal and regular attempts to reach it. Regularity in terms of time is not the ideal requirement for the most beneficial form of practice in salvation. It is advantageous, however, for those whose motivation is inconsistent and who remain heavily defended against learning. We will, therefore, keep to the 5 minutes an hour practice periods for a while, and urge you to omit as few as possible. Using the first 5 minutes of the hour will be particularly helpful, since it imposes firmer structure. Do not, however, use your lapses from this schedule as an excuse not to return to it again as soon as you can. There may well be a temptation to regard the day as lost because you have already failed to do what is required. This should, however, merely be recognized as what it is: a refusal to let your mistake be corrected, and an unwillingness to try again. The Holy Spirit is not delayed in His teaching by your mistakes. He can be held back only by your unwillingness to let them go. Let us, therefore, be determined, particularly for the next week or so, to be willing to forgive ourselves for our lapses in diligence and our failures to follow the instructions for practicing the day's idea. Excuse me. This tolerance for weakness will enable us to overlook it, rather than give it power to delay our learning. If we give it power to do this, we are regarding it as strength, and are confusing strength with weakness. When you fail to comply with the requirements of this course, you have merely made a mistake. This calls for correction, and for nothing else. To allow a mistake to continue is to make additional mistakes, based on the first and reinforcing it. It is this process that must be laid aside, for it is but another way in which you would defend illusions against the truth. Let all those errors go by recognizing them for what they are. They are attempts to keep you unaware you are one self, united with your Creator, at one with every aspect of creation, and limitless in power and in peace. This is the truth, and nothing else is true. Today, we will affirm this truth again, and try to reach the place in you in which there is no doubt that only this is true. Begin the practice periods today with this assurance, offered to your mind with all the certainty that you can give. I am one self, united with my Creator, at one with every aspect of creation, and limitless in power and in peace. Last page. Then close your eyes and tell yourself again, slowly and thoughtfully, attempting to allow the meaning of the words to sink into your mind, replacing false ideas. I am one self. Repeat this several times, and then attempt to feel the meaning that the words convey. You are one self, united and secure in light and joy and peace. You are God's Son, one self, with one Creator and one goal: to bring awareness of this oneness to all minds, that true creation may extend the allness and the unity of God. You are one self, complete and healed and whole, with power to lift the veil of darkness from the world and let the light in you come through to teach the world the truth about yourself. You are one self, in perfect harmony with all there is and all that there will be. You are one self, the Holy Son of God, united with your brothers in that self, united with your Father in His will. Feel this one self in you, and let it shine away all your illusions and your doubts. This is yourself, the Son of God himself, sinless as its creator, with his strength within you and his love forever yours. You are one self, and it is given you to feel this self within you and to cast all your illusions out of the one mind that is this self, the holy truth in you. Do not forget today. We need your help, your little part in bringing happiness to all the world. And heaven looks to you in confidence that you will try today. Share, then, its surety, for it is yours. Be vigilant. Do not forget today. Throughout the day, do not forget your goal. Repeat today's idea as frequently as possible, and understand each time you do so, someone hears the voice of hope, the stirring of the truth within his mind, the gentle rustling of the wings of peace. Your own acknowledgement you are one self, united with your Father, is a call to all the world to be at one with you. To everyone you meet today, be sure to give the promise of today's idea and tell him this: you are one self with me, united with our Creator in this self. I honor you because of what I am and what He is, who loves us both as one. Goodness gracious. There's lesson 95. Folks, let's move to Jesus' commentary, the year of forgiveness. I am one self, united with my Creator. You are blessed beings, indeed. I am that one you know as Jesus. You can feel the truth in these words. You can feel the love in these words. You can feel separation is not what you want. Love is what you want. Communion is what you want. Connection to the divine is what you want. You do not want these idols you have been chasing and that you find so meaningless and hollow when you catch them. You catch an idol and then you drop it saying, "This is not what I wanted. I thought it was what I wanted, but it is not what I wanted." Then the ego mind says, "But look, over there. Look at that one. This is so shiny, and so many people are chasing it. You should chase that one too." 3 or 4 years later, you catch that idol, a nice car, a new body to play with, an advancement at work, a marriage, children, or a bigger house. What do you look for? You look for peace. You look for joy. Those things are not found outside of you. You think they are. You have been taught to buy things, upgrade your possessions, get married, or slim down to be happy. Truly, have these things made you happy? Do they make others happy? You don't know. You see the smiles pasted on their social faces, but are they truly happy? You hear stories of the unhappiness of the wealthy or the famous, their difficulties. We do not want you to relish those difficulties. We want you to go to your experience and ask, have all the things that I have chased made me happy? Have they brought me peace in the darkest hours of the night? Have they brought comfort and joy and love? No, most of them have not. Perhaps for a few weeks, a few months, or a little while if you were lucky. Then they turn into something else. Then they turn into what they are, temporary band-aids for deeper pain. We go into the mind and change the way you look at reality. We change the value system of your consciousness from what has been marketed to you by religions, family, cultures, television, advertisements, and movies. What has been marketed to you from commercialism, materialism, fear, and death, we change into love. You come from love. You are made from love. And you are destined to love. That is the truth. I am that one you know as Jesus. We will see you again tomorrow. So much love, dearest ones. Namaste.